Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-da. What's up, y'all? Saturday, March 8th. Getting ready for another round of this daylight savings time nonsense here at World of Matchups. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. My name is Dexter Reed. I am your host, coming to you guys live and direct from Las Vegas, Nevada, one of the best handicapping podcasts in the nation. On the other side of the glass, my A1 from day one and producer extraordinaire, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in Spencer the Wiz. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. The NFL never stops. I mean, we're getting into NFL free agency. It's been insane to start things out. A lot of cap casualties. It's always a very fun part of the season. And then, then everything just lines up. I mean, free agency rolls right into the draft, and the two are connected to each other. Every decision just feels so important. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love this time of year. Most people are like golfing or vacationing or taking time off or like moving through hockey and baseball. And I'm doing that too. But like I'm still watching the NFL with a level of enthusiasm like no other. Like to me, this is just as important as what you see on the field on Sundays. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today before this is the gauntlet week coming up. This is where, like, within hours, complete changes for franchises are happening. We've had sprinklings so far, but cap compliance is the 12th, and then it's on and popping. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to let Spencer set it off, and then we're going to roll with the punches and talk about some different things that are happening and get you guys ready to see what your teams are going to look like come September.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can start with the big trade that went down yesterday for my franchise. I don't know if I would have say it's surprising, but yeah, Geno Smith was traded for a third-round pick. So the reality of the situation is that the Raiders flipped the third they got for Devontae Adams, and they got Geno. And it's like, I didn't know what to think when I read it initially. It made sense. Reports came out that they're looking to trade for a starting quarterback or, acquire a veteran. And it seems it's very obvious now. This new regime is prioritizing stability over anything. They want to have a stable franchise, maybe not the most big blockbuster moves like trading for Devontae Adams, but moves that'll immediately help this team get better. And they didn't give up much for him. Geno Smith's also on a one-year deal. I've seen tons of conflicting reports about getting a long-term deal done for him. But, I mean, overall, I would definitely prefer to have Geno Smith on whatever he is than overpaying for Sam Darnold. I think what you're getting a lot more out of Geno Smith on a cheaper price tag for sure, too. Last year was a little rough, but that Seattle offensive line is like the most rough like in the league. So still had about a 70% completion percentage. The interceptions obviously worry you quite a bit, but a veteran presence, tons of familiarity with the head coach, a quarterback that could definitely start now, and then you draft a rookie, sits behind him for a couple years or even just 1 year. I think they made the right move overall. I mean, I was pretty happy. Not necessarily out of left field, but definitely not one I had on my bingo card, I would say at least. I would say I'm happy. It's not, comparing them to the AFC West quarterbacks. It does obviously pale in comparison. If it feels like you need like the best quarterback to compete against who's in the division. But then I think, well, who just won the Super Bowl? It's like, yeah, Jalen Hurts obviously isn't like horrible, terrible quarterback who can barely get you anywhere, but he's certainly not a top 5 quarterback. He just made the right passes, did what he was asked to, and they ran the ball 1,000 times. I don't see why Geno Smith couldn't run an offense like similar or like kind of towards the same level. Just a very smart move, I think, by this team. Not necessarily exciting, but like the right move.
I'm not a fan. I mean, I understand why the Raiders did this. I mean, the Raiders have to do something because what they've been doing the last couple of years isn't working. Enter Tom Brady, enter Pete Carroll. Okay, NFL royalty, very competent, rings, history, decision-making, acumen. And so that in and of itself, just having like these guys in the building, around the building, in the parking lot, in meetings, it's going to make a difference in turning this franchise around. However, I think Geno Smith is just Black Daniel Jones. I mean, he sucks. He's not great. He's not a needle mover. It's not great. It's an NFL high level game manager is now coming to Vegas. Now, this move signals a couple things for me. One, it puts the Raiders potentially in the Ashton Gente sweepstakes. Okay, because their running backs are horrible. They're bad. They're old.
Horrible.
They're
Worst
pass
running game in the
catchers.
league
I
last
mean,
year.
it might be one of the. I mean, they're bad. And so now, if they use their first pick on what should have been the Heisman Trophy winner, okay, you know what I mean? Okay, you got a more than decent O line. Okay, now we're actually cooking with some offense. There's plenty of wide receivers in this draft. There's good players in rounds 2 and 3. That could put the Raiders in a position to be competitive, which right now, that's all you're trying to be. Okay, because in the AFC West, it's an absolute gauntlet. Even with Kansas City is going to take a step back, Denver is on the rise. The Chargers are on the rise. Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid. I mean, you just don't want to embarrass yourself here. Okay, so it's not a terrible move. It's just not a needle mover. I mean, you didn't give up much to get him. I mean, you got to remember what Geno Smith has been his entire career. He's been pretty much a backup. The fact that Seattle paid him is absolutely egregious in and of itself. And now, if Vegas doubles down and gives a 32, 33-year-old quarterback with bad knees a long-term deal, it's almost laughable. To me, this has got to be a one-year prove-it deal. You bring in a guy, let him sit behind Geno. I mean, Geno is a veteran, so will have some, tutelage for a new guy, whether it's Ewers, whether it's Sanders, whoever it is. And then that guy takes the reins. You kind of hope you have a Mahomes type situation, and the guy comes in and he's now your franchise quarterback. I think they're going to be out on Shador. I think teams are souring on Shador. I really do.
That's what it seems like.
That's what it seems like. I think teams are souring on Shador. I think that, I love Dion. I love a player that can talk it and walk it and back it, and the confidence level is just brimming. I love that, man. Like, if you're it, then you know it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, coming into the league, I feel like there's a level of humility that you should kind of embrace. You're looking for employment, man. This ain't going to be a Bronny James situation. You know what I mean? Dad's out of the league for decades now. And so you're going to have to work your way onto a squad and work your way into a starting position. And I think he's turning some people off, including Vegas. I could definitely see where AJ goes to Vegas. I think that's what's probably going to happen, and they're going to pair him with Geno Smith. And then Brock Bowers is going to be Brock Bowers, and then you're going to sprinkle in a little bit here, a little bit there, and you're going to try to be competitive and not win 8 games. You're going to try to get to 9 games. That's what the Raiders are. They're 7-8, 7-9, 9-8. We got to get the Raiders to 10 games before I'm going to really hop on the Raiders train. The defense got to be a little bit better. But like I said, Tom Brady in the building, Pete Carroll in the building. You can do worse than this. And like you said, I would not have paid Sam Darnold. I would not.
Yeah, I think they made the right decision there. I think he would have come here.
Again, Sam Darnold would have taken your money and come here. But, I mean, in the Kevin O'Connell offense with Addison and Hawkinson and Jets, and those running backs, dude, a lot of people back there. Geno Smith could look like that. Geno Smith could look like that in that offense. But you're coming to Vegas and you have Brock Bowers.
I think they're going to ask a lot less of Geno Smith in this offense. Like last year, he threw for like 4,300 yards. It's like
that's because they were down in every game.
Throwing that much.
Well, if you're down in a lot of games, you're not going to have a choice.
His numbers are inflated. I don't know. I mean, if the Raiders run the ball a lot, I think they're going to try to control the clock. I mean, what I like about the Raiders situation now is the flexibility. If you sign Najee Harris to start free agency,
he's a bum.
Then you don't draft Ashton Gente in the first round. You pair Najee Harris with Trey Hendrickson. I can't say his name. Or you get Quinton Judkins. I can't say any of these guys' names right now, but there is a plethora of running back
There's
options.
a lot of talent.
Marion Hampton.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pair Najee Harris with another guy in the second or third
Cam
round.
Scatterbo on the Raiders would be. I mean, and this is what I'm talking about, you guys. Like, this is such a pivotal week. Like, GMs across the league, literally, they're sleeping at the stadium. These guys are saying goodbye to their families for like weeks on end. Like, they are locked in the war room because they know one move, it could make or break your team this year. And I kind of think that this is an okay floor move for the Raiders. My buddy Rob the Raider is excited. Raider fans are excited. I really don't know why. You know what I mean? I'd be more excited about you trading up and going after the best quarterback in the draft. Me?
Just don't know if they're going to be able to make that leap.
With all the capital that you have, with all the money that you have, with all the picks that you have, I'd mortgage your future. Guys, in order to win big, you have to bet big. Yeah, well, stability ain't Geno Smith.
They haven't had any in like 6 years.
Yeah, so the Raiders are basically trying to tell you guys that right now we're just trying to be competitive. We're trying not to have guys get arrested like dudes in Kansas City. We're trying not to have any more Henry Ruggs. We're trying to bring guys to the weight room, the off-season program. We paid max, which is fantastic, where we are pushing all our chips to the middle of the table, and we're calling this like trust the process, basically, for the Raiders. Trust the process, guys. In 3 years, we're going to the Super Bowl. This is what Pete Carroll is probably seriously. This is what Pete Carroll is probably telling the team. You guys keep your bodies right. You listen. You do what you're supposed to do. Look at what winning franchises do. We are going to start doing that. Tom will come in from time to time and talk, and we're going to be in the playoffs, and we are going to bring the pride back to the silver and black. That's really what I think is happening.
I think there's a lot of validity in that. If you look at the extension for Max Crosby, he's getting most of his money in this year and next year. I mean, they're really priming themselves.
He's earned it.
Hey, let's get 8 wins this year. Let's get 9 wins the next year, and then we'll make a big push and like really try to go for it in that third year.
He's earned it.
Crosby won't be getting a lot. I mean, he earned every penny, but
he's earned more than that.
The way that they've structured his contract, I think, really shows that like we want to get back to winning football this year. We're not going to win the Super Bowl, but we want to get back to some normalcy. We want to have some respect in this franchise so that we can really like maybe convince a big name in a couple of years, because no one really wants to come to the Raiders right now. It's gonna take some time to where this is actually I
don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, son, 315 days a year and no state tax is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Kind of nice. I mean, let the Raiders win.
That they were going to do
let the Raiders win 10 games this year. I think all of a sudden, guys are going to be like, yo, they got something. You know what I mean? Let the Raiders be a wild card and lose that game, but lose it with pride. And all of a sudden, guys are going to want to come here. That's what happens in the NFL. Guys want to win. They throw so much monopoly money around that guys want to win. They know they're getting paid. So once they get paid up, they want to ring. Guys ring chase all the time. All the time. It wouldn't surprise me to see Vegas really good here in a couple of years. It really wouldn't at all. This is the NFL. You cannot stay bad forever. Shit, look at the Lions. The Lions were a laughable XFL team 10 years ago. The Lions are a Super Bowl contender now. It doesn't stay this bad forever. Pieces come and go. You get the right guy. I'm telling you, having Tom Brady in the building is a slept-on move. Really slept on. What's next?
All right, we can go through the other carousel here. We can start with Christian Kirk. So the Jaguars essentially gutted their team.
They just gutted the whole team. They just don't care.
I actually don't think they made the worst decisions. Everyone's like, oh, they got rid of everybody. I mean, Evan Ingram obviously is one of those names
older.
Where like, okay,
he'll get picked up.
A high-level contributor. He will. He's going to be a pretty coveted.
Evan Ingram will be picked up on Tuesday, very quickly.
But everyone else, I'm like, I don't know.
Christian Kirk's good, man. He just doesn't score enough touchdowns.
Well, he had a horrible season.
Well, he got hurt
last year.
Collarbone injury, and Brian Thomas Jr. is to the moon. You know what I mean? BTJ to the moon this year. To the moon. If Trevor Lawrence cannot get it done this year with Brian Thomas Jr., he should be released. He should be released, dude. Yeah. Brian Thomas Jr. had a better year than Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison. on the Jaguars. Let that sink in, guys. To the moon. He's going to go crazy this year. And so, releasing Christian Kirk, I'm for
Well,
it.
he got traded. He got traded to the
Or,
Texans.
well, they released him,
I
and
thought he got released too.
they said he released him, and then they came
Yeah.
back, and then they said that they traded him to the Texans, which this just tells you that Tank Dell's career is potentially in peril. It could be over.
Yeah, the Texas wide receiver room that's crazy how things can change so fast in the National Football League, doesn't it?
Stephon
Last
Diggs
year
is
bringing
out.
Stephon Diggs and then Tank Dell. It's like both of your like kind of number one and number two.
Yeah.
They might
I
just
mean,
be gone. I mean, I
I
don't think
think
Tank Dell's playing this year.
Tank Dell's not playing this year or next year. His NFL career is in jeopardy. He's about to have a second surgery
Sad.
on that knee.
Really sad.
Yeah, I mean it's bad. It's worse than you saw when he was lying on the field in Kansas City, guys. I mean his knee, his ankle, it's roast beef. It's bad. You know what I mean? And so, Stephon Diggs out with the ACL, 31 years old, head case. No one wants that guy. And now you're just looking at Nico Collins, who's paid up. But, like, you can double Nico, and then now you're forced to run the ball. This is a good move. I like Kirk. I always have. He's a chain mover, smaller guy. What I don't like about Christian Kirk is he doesn't score enough touchdowns. He just doesn't get in the box. And that's the name of the game, is to score. I mean, you can't. I mean, God forbid anything happen to Nico, then what? And Nico Collins gets hurt. So there's your touchdown guy. He's out. Christian Kirk ain't going to move the needle. I think they're going to have to draft a couple wide receivers. I don't think that the Texans are done by any stretch. I think that the sophomore slump was real for C.J. Stroud, so they're going to give him a little bit more help. But they had to me, they had an okay season. To me, they had the same season back-to-back years. You have to end up going on the road to Kansas City, end up going on the road to Baltimore. You're not winning either of those games. So they're going to have to do what it takes to get over the hump this year. And starting by picking up Christian Kirk, who they weren't going to pick up that price tag on him in Jacksonville. So trading him and getting anything for him is a good move. They're gutting the team, but honestly, I don't hate it. The problem is that you better have a nice plan together here for Trevor Lawrence, who's also coming off.
They almost got rid of every wide receiver on their team outside of.
Trevor Lawrence is standing in the room with
Brian
Thomas Jr. I mean, it's just those two right now. I mean, I don't know. I like Evan Ingram. I know he was hurt a lot. I know he's on the other side of 30. Maybe they're looking at Tyler Warren. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? But
I know there is such a mystery in this year's draft.
Well, rookie head coach and just a lot of pieces.
See them going for Tyler Warren real early. I think I've been thinking about this. I think this is the year that you reach in the draft. I mean, who cares if you take a guy at 4th and he's supposed to
I'm always reaching, bro.
Who cares?
I don't believe. Look, I don't believe.
Yeah.
I don't believe in reach. Do you want the guy or not? Same thing in fantasy. Same thing in auction drafts. I don't care how much I got to spend. I want him.
That's how I feel with even just at the Raiders with Gentry at 6. Is he really a 6 overall pick? I don't know, but does it really matter?
Does it matter?
Are you going to remember that in 3 years when the guy's putting up 1,200 yards?
Exactly. If he pops, is anyone going to care? It's just when it doesn't happen, then you're like, man, we wasted a first rounder on this kid. But you know what? There's only one way to find out. I will always keep going back to this. The Mahomes trade transcended the National Football League because everybody was like, who is this kid? His footwork is horrible. All he is a gunslinger. He's a poor man's Brett Favre, the picks, the indecision. But Dorsey and Veach had been watching this kid for years. Literally, in season, already doing recon for 2 seasons later. And they're just like, we don't care what anyone thinks. If we are going to get a team that is willing to trade with us, this is our guy. And look at him. 5 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl rings, 3 Super Bowl MVPs before 29 years old. You just don't know. So there's one way to find out, and that's to shoot your shot. In life, same thing. All these people crying about how it never happens for me, it never works for me. Well, are you shooting your shot? If you don't shoot your shot, you're not going to know. Nobody is going to fault the Raiders or any team out there for trying. At least we tried.
It wouldn't shock me if the Jaguars took Tyler Warren.
He'd be a perfect fit. He'd be a perfect, guys. I'm telling you, I'm higher on Tyler Warren than Spencer is. I
Yeah.
am. I know he's like Lurch out
I
there.
know a
I
lot of
don't.
teams are very high on him. I'm
I
not.
don't care. The kid, he has got hands for days. He's a mismatch all over the field, and he's a decent inline blocker. Get that Evan Ingram money off the books, and let's go.
I actually kind of like what the Jaguars did yesterday. Don't. So many teams keep these guys around for so
Get
many
rid of him.
years. Just
Get rid of him. If you're
if it's
not
not going to help
Kelsey
you in your
at
long
30
term
years
success,
old, making how many million? Broom. Go to Carolina. They'll pay you.
and same thing with like these guys like Ronald Darby and
Get him out.
Josh Reynolds,
Get him
Devin
out.
Duvernay.
Yep.
Just
They're just guys.
yeah,
They're
it's not like
just
the
guys.
Jaguars again are competing for a Super Bowl next year. Just
Nope.
start building a roster that you want. You
The
don't have to keep
Jaguars
these
are
guys
the
around.
Raiders with supposedly a franchise quarterback. And flip coaching. They got a Hall of Fame coach in one team and a rookie coach in the other team. Otherwise, they're the same team. They're the same team. Expectations always more than high, always falling short. This is the year or else. How long we've been hearing
Time
this
to
about
do
the
things
Raiders forever?
differently.
Try to do something differently. Let's hope that rookie head coach has got his head screwed on straight because Shad Khan's pocketbook is as deep as anyone. You can build yourself a team if you're smart. Next.
All right, let's see what's next on the list here. This is like the big. We're gonna go over some trade targets this time. It's DK Metcalf. This one's almost impossible, I think, to try to predict because he's being like everybody in the league wants DK Metcalf, right? A big wide receiver, who's a home run kind of guy. I mean, who wouldn't want someone like that on their football team? Every team in the NFL wants to get in on this. Is he worth a first and a third round pick plus paying him $30 million a
Hell
year?
no.
No, but I think that's probably like leaked out from the Seattle front office to let everybody know, you know, that's what they want to do. And that's the starting negotiation. And you're trying to get every team to outbid each other. I think they'll probably end up settling around a second round pick. I could see a third as well. But obviously it's a sign and trade. Those don't really exist like in the NBA, but same difference basically. Like he's only getting traded to a team that he knows is getting paid for. I think you can take a couple teams off this list. Like everyone's like Patriots. Any wide receiver in the NFL is linked to the Patriots, but
There's
I think
one
that
place
DK,
he can go. I'll tell you who it is in a second. One place.
You can get rid of teams like the Patriots. Like he's going to want to go to a quarterback, and he's going to want to go.
Chiefs. Hell no. Hell no,
Yeah,
dude.
I don't know where he's going to go.
There is one place he can go, and I'm telling you, this is exactly what is going to happen, guys, or he is going to be a Seahawk. It is the Green Bay Packers. He is going to the Green Bay Packers. It's going to be for a third or a fourth. He's going to sign a 3-year deal. It's going to be nowhere near what he thinks it's going to be because no one's paying DK Metcalf $30 million a year.
Yeah.
People are learning from the Brandon Ayuk mistake. In return, Seattle is probably going to get Dontavian Wicks or Romeo Doubs, more likely Doubs, because Doubs is a head case and he's a problem starter, complaining, not wanting to practice. All of a sudden, he's getting suspended. They make amends, okay, everything ends up okay, but now, a young receiver like him, they're going to get rid of him in return, and Jordan Love's going to be his quarterback, and DK Metcalf's going to be a Packer. They need a number one. Josh Jacobs was just running his mouth about it. And so, when your best player on your team is saying something like that publicly, it might not have gone over well in the locker room, but you can bet you're behind that the Green Bay brass and front office took note of that. Green Bay literally is close every year. Every year. This could be the type of thing that puts them over the top. They got money. Who are they paying? Jair Alexander is gone. DK Metcalf to the Packers makes the most sense. It makes the most sense.
We'll see. I mean, it's going to be a big bidding war. It's one of the bigger
And they
names
got
out there.
plenty of pieces that they could give Seattle in return to go out there with JSN and Romeo Doubs. JSN, Dontavian Wicks. JSN and Christian Watson. They got so much they can give back. So much. They got money. They got picks. Seattle's in full-on rebuild mode. They don't even have a quarterback. Unless they're going to plan on having Sam Howell be there.
That is the part of that deal that doesn't really make sense to me.
It makes sense to me.
Seattle.
Geno Smith sucks, and they don't want to pay him anymore. And so they're going to...
no one else there, though.
Yeah, but you know what? Sam Howell this year could have put up the exact same numbers Geno Smith did. 100,000%. I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill. Sam Howell is a gamer. He's got a live arm and he's got wheels, and he's younger. The same numbers. We saw what he did in Washington for a while. Late in the year, 2 years ago, he was leading the league in passing. I think they brought Sam Howell here into Seattle for this moment because they're like, if Geno doesn't set the world on fire, he's gone, and we'll give Sam another shot. We'll draft Quinn Ewers. You know what I mean? Something like that, a J.J. McCarthy style type thing. I'm telling you, DK to Green Bay. If it happens, I'm expecting flowers at my doorstep from all of you clowns.
All right. The next guy on the list is a guy who I kept mixing up with Trayvon Henderson. It's Trey Hendrickson.
Hendrickson from the Cincinnati Bengals requested a trade.
I was trying to say the Raiders are going to get that running back.
Hendrickson's a stud.
Yeah, I mean,
stud.
The Bengals are so just...
They're the worst run franchise in the NFL.
So cheap, man. This is like the cheapest franchise in professional sports. I really don't understand it, but...
The cheapinati Bengals.
I know. It's like, come on, man.
And they're going to have 50% of their cap wrapped up in 3 players if they end up keeping these guys.
Well, I guess that's what that signals.
Just tag. I don't get it. Spencer, we just watched what happened in the playoffs in the Super Bowl. Pretty much every single game came down to, could your defense make a play? That's
what did A.J. Brown do in the Super Bowl?
Every single game came down to defense making a play. In every single game. Look at Chiefs-Bills. Look at the Super Bowl. How you think that you're just going to go out there and score 50 and beat everybody and waste the prime of Joe Burrow is mind-blowing to me. Tag and trade. Get T. Higgins off this team. You got Yosevas, who is a live game. Yosevas is live, bro. He's a good third down receiver. He's a big body receiver. I would tag and trade and get anything I could for T. Higgins. Get him out. He will not be the same player without Jamar Chase anywhere else. This is a guarantee. And then I would rebuild my defense. I'd pay Hendrickson, and you dummies waited too long to pay Jamar. You wanted to be cheap. And now Jamar is going to back up the Brinks truck to the owner's house, and you're going to have to fill it. Jamar could already be going into the second year of his deal. But no, let's put him on another prove-it deal. Jamar Chase was Randy Moss and Jerry Rice this last year. You guys are the dumbest franchise in the NFL. And now Trey Hendrickson wants out because, one, guys get tired of losing. You see this guy having better numbers than Chris Jones. And he's like, I'm winning 7 games a year. I'm tired of this nonsense. Okay? The Chili and Cincinnati's are not enough to keep me there. Dude, get me out of this dumpster fire. And there's teams that will pay him $30 million. There are teams right now that will give him $30 million. He's gone. He's gone. And you know what's going to happen, Spencer? They're going to be the worst defense in the league again. They'll start off 0-5 again. They'll finish 9-8, and they're going to just miss the playoffs again.
He's literally like one of the best defensive ends in all of football.
He's a monster. He is a monster.
Defensive changing player. Imagine if like the Lions traded for him or something like that. You know,
Look at this nonsense. Bengals tight end Mike Gesicki had agreed on a 3-year contract extension. I mean, what is this? This just came over. What is this team doing? You're over here worrying about washed up ass Mike Gesicki getting a 3-year contract extension. Build your defense, you jabronis. I hate the Bengals.
It's killed them in every single pivotal loss. Yeah.
Ever since Burrowhead, the Bengals have just been cursed. They've just been cursed.
They're like hoping they could beat a team like the Eagles through just scoring so many points. That's just no way that you're gonna win.
They hate the Chiefs so much, and they focus so much on just trying to be like the Chiefs and beating the Chiefs that they have forgotten how to run an NFL franchise competently. And they're going about this all wrong. And the fact of the matter is that defensive players, also free agents, they don't want to go there because they know this. Because it's all Jamar. You know what I mean? Joe Mixon, shout out Joe Mixon for getting out of there, man. Joe Mixon's had a resurgent career in Houston. He didn't miss a beat. He's actually better. Sometimes the writing's on the wall, man, and it's not a forgery. Stay away from Cincinnati, you guys. This team does not know what they're doing, and I hope Trey Hendrickson goes to a good team, and I hope they pay him. Where's he going? Hell, he could come to the Raiders. Raiders' pocketbooks are deep. That would be dope. Crosby on one side, Hendrickson on the other. Oh.
Imagine if Mason Graham would fall to them in the draft too. At that point, that'd be insane.
What?
That'd be crazy, or even trading up to get Mason Graham.
Christian Wilkins comes back. What? You ain't running on the Raiders then. What?
You're not doing nothing on them.
You better be able to throw the ball, son.
That's Raiders what I'm be very interested.
Dude, this is what I'm talking about, though. This is what I'm talking about.
Because then you instantly have one of the best defensive lines in football.
You got a new OC. DC is solid. You got competent people in the build. Dude, I'm telling guys, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. Don't be surprised if the Raiders win 9 or 10 games. I know Geno Smith sucks, okay? But everything else, I think, when it's all said and done, they're gonna cook. They're gonna cook. The Raiders were horrible, and they went into Baltimore and won that game. They were horrible. The Raiders were a bad call away from beating Kansas City in Kansas City. Dude, this is what they do. If they could just not be inconsistent and be consistent and get guys like Hendrickson on their team, they're in good shape. Or Trey Hendrickson goes to Buffalo. Dude, if I'm
Buffalo be
if I'm Buffalo right now, dude,
they're gonna release Von Miller.
Dude, Hendrickson has a private chopper in his freaking yard right now. With whatever he wants, a blank check, with a check, just a blank check, and his agent. We're talking right here at your house, bro. This is what I'm talking about, dude. The Bengals are a bunch of idiots, and I got no love for any of them. Then their fans are annoying. The fans think they're so good. Your team sucks. You went to the Super Bowl and lost. What? You're going to ruin Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, you've heard it here first, and I said this before, and I'm going to keep saying this. I'm going to double and triple and quadruple down on this until I'm dead and buried. Joe Burrow has seen his last Super Bowl. He is this generation's Dan Marino. I have spoken.
All right, let's keep it going here. We just talked about C. Higgins. I guess we can talk about the tandem together. It's Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers. It's more of a clown show at this point, in my opinion.
Clowns.
The two of them are just dorks, and
Davante Adams really I soured on him a lot.
Yeah, he's a baby.
Clowns.
Didn't give his full effort again with the Raiders to start last year. Demands his way out.
One of the greatest moves the Raiders will have ever made in their lives was getting rid of Davante Adams and getting that money off the books.
All the money off the books, and that was such a G move. Quarterback.
That was such a G move. It really, really was, man. Get him out.
The Jets got nothing for it.
Nothing. Doing, and they going on McAfee. Oh, man, you guys look like the biggest set of. Dude, Aaron Rodgers is my least favorite player in all of history of sports. Least. I'm a Knicks fan, and I like Michael Jordan more than I like Aaron Rodgers. He's just a surly prick. I can't stand the guy, and I'm glad that his career is ending this way. And you know what, man? I'm glad this is happening with Davante Adams too, man. You guys are a bunch of clowns, and I hope you go to a bad team, and I hope you stink again. They thought they were going to go to the Rams. That's what they thought. And then Stafford got signed, and they're like, now where are we going to go? Because they're a package deal, those two.
I guess so now at this point.
They're a package deal. So where do they go? Where do they go?
The Giants, I guess.
Giants. Is
that what's going to happen?
Stink. Oh, my goodness gracious. I think the Giants.
Dable is like.
I think the Giants are getting Russell Wilson, and I think they're getting they're drafting a quarterback.
I think they're going to draft a quarterback, but I see Aaron Rodgers. I think Dable, his coaching career depends on this year. Like
he's so old and frail and useless now.
Yeah, but they need a wide receiver for the Giants. So I mean, if you get this little package deal, I think that
here's the
buy
thing.
Dable a year.
Why would you waste your time doing this when it's not going to turn into a playoff game or a Super Bowl run?
Because their jobs are on the line. Him and Joe Shane.
That would be so disgusting seeing Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers in blue. It already didn't work once in New York, so let's just go to the other side of town. You scrubs. I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. It's disgusting how to end your career if you're Davante Adams after being literally one of the 5 best wide receivers for the past 10 years to go out like this. It's really pathetic. And if I'm Davante Adams, literally, I'm distancing myself from anything Aaron Rodgers. I want nothing to do with the guy because anything that guy touches turns to shit. Anything. Whether it's the frickin' darkness retreats or not showing up for this practice or just being a prick to the media. And I mean, he held the Jets hostage. Dude, kudos to the Jets for saying, you know what, we're just going to eat it. We're moving in a new direction. We're going to eat it. That guy ruined Brees Hall. That guy ruined Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson was almost ready to demand a trade because Aaron Rodgers is so bad. Now they can at least start fresh. I mean, Tyrod Taylor is no world beater. But again, in order for you to be healthy, you have to do the chemo, man. If the cancer's in the locker room, you're going to just stay a sick franchise. And they let him run the franchise for the year. Terrible. You think that would ever happen in Kansas City? You think that would ever happen in New England? You think that would ever happen in San Francisco? You're not telling us how things are going to go. Dude, you're the player. We pay you. Get out of here with that. Shout out Green Bay for getting rid of him too, man. Sometimes when you see it coming, you have to cut bait. And I think Aaron Rodgers should just retire before he really gets hurt and gets hurt permanently. For real.
Well, the list is getting smaller and smaller for Aaron Rodgers. That's for sure. So we'll have to see on that one.
He's
Cooper
a bum.
Kupp, you know, the news
Here's
came
an
out that he's on the trade.
interesting one.
Yeah, he's on the trade block like the day of the Super Bowl. I think it was kind of a bizarre timing of the way
They couldn't wait. They couldn't wait to get rid of him, man. They couldn't wait to get rid of him. Cooper Kupp was basically slowly being phased out. The Triple Crown year is, not like last year. It's years ago. He's always hurt.
They re-signed Tutu Atwell. And
Puka is an absolute mammoth. Puka's a top 5 wideout who's going to now get all those targets. I mean, literally, we went from seeing, Kupp getting 12 to 15 targets a game to seeing like 2 or 3. At that price tag, you let him go. I think Cooper Kupp will be a Cowboy. I really do. I think that. There's really there's no hope and promise in Dallas, but it's a nice paycheck, and he'll see balls. You know what I mean? He'll play. He'll get to play. Dak will be back. Dak's got a live arm. Ferguson, Dak, CD. Just to take a little pressure off Lamb. I think Dallas is the spot that he should go, where they can convince him that we're a playoff team and you'll at least have a chance, when the truth of the matter is they're going to suck. You know what I mean? They're going to be a 7-win team. But it'll be a nice payday.
Yeah.
Because Jerry likes these type of players, man, and he'll overpay for Cooper Kupp. They'll give Cooper Kupp a 2-year deal. Cooper Kupp is washed. You know what I mean? But they'll give him a 2-year deal, and they'll give him a lot of money. So that's where I think Cooper Kupp goes. There's a couple other teams that I think he could go to. I think Cooper Kupp could end up in Miami. You know what I mean? As a third option. Tyreek might be gone here soon. Waddle's always hurt. Always hurt. Cooper Kupp to Cincinnati if they tag and trade T. There's places Cooper Kupp can go. Cooper Kupp to Seattle.
Yeah, it could be another Green Bay target, maybe, if they're looking to get it more.
Well, if they gut their, they have so much wide receiver talent, they would have to trade. It would have to be like a DK gutting a 2-for-1, because they got great players, they got great wide receivers. I'm not so sure they need Kupp like that, but there's some teams that really need Kupp.
How about the Chargers? They need a wide receiver.
They need Kupp. You know what I mean? Cooper Kupp on one side, and then you have the
the Denver Broncos. That's another wide receiver.
Lad McConkey. Well, the Broncos have talent they just don't use. You know what I mean? I really believe that Marvin Mims is a stud in this league. They just don't use him. The guy is really good. He's fast, strong. They just don't give him the ball. I think if they gave him an uptick of targets, you could see Marvin Mims have 800 yards and 5 tutties, but they just don't. But I could also see Cooper Kupp going to Denver he's such a Denver wide receiver. You know what I mean? I could totally see that too. Patriots, if he doesn't care about winning and just cares about money. There's a lot of places.
A lot of wide receiver needy teams.
A lot of places Cooper Kupp can go, but I think Dallas is going to be the place.
All right. We talked about Evan Ingram. So I guess one of the only big ones that we know of as of right now. There's tons of free agents out there
so many.
But Joey Bosa got released. So that was one of the bigger moves.
He's going to play with Nick. He's going to the Niners, folks. Write it down.
Crazy. Khalil
Life,
Mack is also out there. I don't know where
he's
but he's going to
washed.
stay with the Chargers.
He's done, dude. These guys are just past their prime. You know, they're just name only now. Joey Bosa was never consistent. Big game, Joey Bosa, and then do nothing for weeks on end. He's going to go play with Nick Bosa. I think it'll be fun to watch. Niners are really in shambles, so they'll give it a go. Khalil Mack's one that I'm more concerned about because he's just the product. He's Von Miller West Coast. I just released these guys. Rebuild your defense, man. I mean, what was his production last year? I don't know offhand. Was it decent? I mean, if it is decent, you give him another year. I mean, how old is he now? 34, 35? That's old, man. You know? I mean, when you think about Khalil Mack Bears, to me, that seems like the Obama administration. That's how long ago.
That was a while ago.
A while ago, man. I mean, these guys are just done. Me, I'm not paying older players, man. Not named Aaron Donald. Not named Tom Brady. I'm just not giving these old dude. Once you are on your way to being washed, not even washed. Once you're wet, I want you off my team. I want you off my team.
There's tons of guys like that out there, like Nick Chubb and
done.
Just list
career over. Nick Chubb's career is over.
Miles
Garrett's one we can really talk about because he is trying to force his way out of the Browns organization, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell style. And I'm here to tell you, they're not going to budge on this.
No way, man.
They're not going to budge on this. You will have to give the Browns 3 wins and even get them to the table. And so he is ready to sit out. And it's not going to end well, man, because I don't think he's got the stones.
The Browns have nothing to lose, so if he wants to sit out for multiple years, we'll just be like, okay.
The Browns stink with him. They stink without him. So, look, if you don't want to play, that's fine because we're not going to pay you, and then eventually we will just replace you. You're a Brown, so you either suck it up and be the Brown that we need you to be, or you sit and sulk. Either way, we're winning because Brown fans will show up. Whether the team stinks or not, because the dog pound is live. It's live. It always is. And so Myles Garrett, I think, is in a tough spot. Literally, you might as well try to get another. This is what I'm doing if I'm Myles Garrett. I'm getting as much money out of the Browns as possible. I'm not sitting out. I'll hold out because he's earned the money on the holdout. But that means you're going to have to play, which means they're going to have to pay. But they
want Abdul Carter if you're the Browns. I think that puts you in a very positive position because
I mean, I know why you want out, but they're not gonna let their only good player go, bro. Come on. That team's had more bad press than any other team in the National Football
League. Like Antonio Brown, like dude, you were like literally entering the prime of your career. They're not
gonna just give you away like a pepperoni pizza. Come on, dude. Get your shit together, man. You and your agent, come to the table and get a contract done. Because you sitting out helps no one. You're only going to play yourself. Just look at these other teams in the past.
Yeah, tons of other guys out there. Like, I don't think Ronnie Stanley's going to lead the Ravens. So to me, that's kind of a moot point. But Sam Darnold, obviously, it's a big
Seattle. Seattle's prepared to give Sam Darnold a $45 million a year contract for 3 years. There's your quarterback. I read that yesterday. I was like, I don't know if I really like Sam Darnold in teal, but, like I said, if the Raiders won't pay him, somebody will, and they want to move off Geno. I mean, Sam Darnold did have a good year, man. And look, KW3, Charbonnet, they just got to draft some linemen. They got a pretty decent defense. It's not great, but it's decent. And JSN to the moon. Dude, JSN, BTJ, all these nickname dudes, these 3-letter nickname, dude, to the moon this year.
JSN will be a big target.
You're going to see JSN. You're going to see college JSN this year. He's going to go crazy. You saw bits and pieces of it at the end of this year. Dude was unstoppable, unguardable. And this is with Geno Smith as his quarterback. My God. Let him get a competent quarterback, and it's mini Jerry Rice. JSN is an amazing player, man. That was a really good pick for them and a really good place for him to go. I like him a lot.
Yeah, you got like Greenlaw, the 49ers are guttering team.
Damage
Murphy,
good.
Cornerback.
I like Byron Murphy.
DJ Reed, a lot of cornerback. Tre'Davious
Corners.
Ward is out there. I mean, this is a
Yep.
cornerback. Carlton Davis. It's crazy. Chris Godwin, I think, is a favorite to go to the Raiders. I think they're looking for another wide receiver. Tom Brady, that's his number one guy. He
Yeah.
really
Godwin in the
kickstarted this
slot.
guy's career.
Who are your wide receivers out there? Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers is great. He's usually great outside.
Who else do you have?
Wide receiver. Yeah, it's
You got
Trey Tucker and everyone else. So
Chris Godwin in silver. Chris Godwin in silver and black would be nice.
Yeah,
he's a chain mover, man.
Yeah, only
chain mover.
years old too.
Coming off an injury, a little concerning, but well, he should be good. I like Chris Godwin, so yeah, I'm all about him.
Josh
Chris Godwin,
Sweat, probably the other huge.
Chris
name
Godwin, Christian Kirk, those type of receivers I like. They just don't get in the box. They just don't get in the box, dude. Like literally, if you're a wide receiver on my team, I need to see you score touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's what I need, man. The running backs are there to move the chains. I need you to get in the box. And these guys, they just don't. 2-3 touchdowns a year, maybe. I don't know if you can really win like that. Who else is out there?
You have Holland, safety.
Javon Holland.
Yes. I don't know. At that point, Nick Bolton obviously is another one of those guys.
Chiefs are going to let him walk, dude, because he's bad in coverage, and they already got Leo Chenal, and they also have Drew Tranquil, who can be the Mike linebacker. I just can't see them paying Trey Smith and then doubling down and giving Nick Bolton a big contract. I like Nick Bolton. He's been a great Chief. He's been a fantastic Chief. But if that guy gets caught on a wide receiver in coverage, he's getting absolutely cooked. He's slow, and I just can't pay you that much money because you can tackle. I've gotten a bunch of Super Bowl rings out of you. I trust Brett Veach. I have your jersey. I mean, I love the guy. But I just go to the Raiders, dude. You know what I mean? Your coverage skills can be someone else's problem. And I love you, but, pause. I can't. He's going to command a lot of money, man. Nick Bolton's going to want a lot of money. And they saw this coming, which is why they gave Tranquil 3 years, $19 million. Cheap Mike linebacker could do the exact same thing. Maybe not as good, but it's serviceable. Chiefs need a bunch of serviceable guys right now because they have so much wrapped up in 5 guys. So no big contracts outside of protecting Mahomes. Please and thank you.
Yeah, and then you got basically the other free agent quarterbacks: Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. I mean, what are the Steelers going to do?
Justin Fields is going to go to the Jets. I think the Jets really like Justin Fields. I think they'll give him a shot. I don't know what the Steelers are going to do at quarterback.
They're in trouble, man.
Steelers are in trouble. They're in trouble because
I don't think they're going to get Justin Fields.
Najee Harris is leaving.
They shafted him, man. They shafted Justin Fields big time.
Big time.
They were undefeated with him.
4-1, and they were
hey, nope, sorry.
Yeah, Justin Fields to the Jets I like a lot because he's got weapons. Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson. He's got good weapons.
Back Russell Wilson.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, the Jets could be in good shape too with this draft because they've trimmed the fat early. They've made a commitment. They're like, we're not playing games anymore. Okay, we're ruining the star players that we have. So these bums, we're going to get them out. I see Justin Fields to the Jets.
Yeah, I could see that.
That would be good, man. That would be good for them.
What are the Jets going to do? They're not in a position to draft a quarterback, obviously. So
I like Justin Fields to the Jets a lot. Screw Pittsburgh.
They got to get somebody.
They
can't just roll out with who they have on the roster right now. There's no way.
Tyrod Taylor cannot be your starting quarterback opening day. I'm sorry.
Can't just roll the dice on a Florida State late round quarterback. No way.
No.
Not with a new head coach, man. There's no shot.
Not with a new head coach and not with the amount of draft capital and money that you have. No.
Yeah.
We're not going to do this. Tyler Warren to the Jets, maybe. You know what I mean? They just released their starting tight end. I could see that. I told you guys last year that I thought the Jets should take Brock Bowers. And they took Fashanu, which, okay, we want to protect Aaron Rodgers. And how'd that work out? Guys, generational talent like Brock Bowers does not come along every day. I told you guys this, man. And for all you clowns out there that were mad when the Raiders took him, I told you, remember, go back. This is on film. This is on video. I'm like, you guys are crazy. The guy is George Kittle. And what did he do? He had a vintage George Kittle season. Brock Bowers is about to be the next great tight end in the league. And he could have been on the Jets. I get that you want to protect your quarterback, but who's your quarterback?
They thought they were gonna roll. They thought they were gonna make him run the Super Bowl last year. They really did.
Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. The Jets were horrendous. It's the Aaron Rodgers curse. Anything that guy touches,
yeah.
Anything he touches, you can forget about it, bro. I hate that guy. I do. He's my least favorite athlete of all time. Aaron Rodgers could die in a fire, dude. I can't stand the guy. He throws people under the bus. He's surly. He's horrible to the media. He's a horrible teammate. He's a horrible person. Screw that guy. I hope he retires. I mean, I'm not wishing injury on anyone, but like, dude, your best days are over. And to think for as many MVPs as you have and all that nonsense that you spouted out of Green Bay for years, you have one Super Bowl. You have one Super Bowl. Did I take Mahomes over you 100 out of 100 times? Did I take Troy Aikman over you? He's not that good. I think he's one of the most overrated quarterbacks of all time. Sure, he doesn't turn the ball over, but like, do you win when it counts? How many times have we watched San Francisco go into Green Bay and win in the playoffs? How many times have we seen the Giants go in there, or the 9-7 Giants? Stop. Let me stop before I get in trouble. What else we got?
I think that's about it. I mean, once you're going down to the bottom here, like the Raiders have some free agency guys, like they have to decide on Trayvon Moehrig, Malcolm Kuntz. I mean, I hope that they can retain Moehrig. I do like Malcolm Kuntz. It's unfortunate his injury problems. And then you're taking flyers at that point, right? Tevin Jenkins, productive when healthy, but when healthy is like the key word there.
Never healthy.
Cam Robinson, another one of those guys, he was like really good. That's why the Jaguars went after him. And then he had a horrible year.
He's not that good.
So at that point, you're just trying to get veterans who you hope,
players left. Yeah.
Hassan Reddick, do you take a flyer on him after the Jets situation?
Way, dude.
Probably not, right?
I wouldn't touch that guy with someone else's money. No way.
Yeah.
That guy is a head case and a half. God, these players are such head cases. We got to talk about Xavier Worthy. It's like a rite of passage for me to wake up in my off season on a Saturday morning after just being so tired all week, and the first thing I see on my phone is Rashee Rice arrested, Xavier Worthy arrested for strangulation. Like, when does it end?
That's serious too, man. That's not like a drunk driving case,
guys. And I'm gonna say some things here that are really gonna upset some of you. I don't care. Okay, I don't care. This is the product of not having fathers in the home. You could be mad all you want. Okay? When you are not being raised properly, this is what happens. When you are a star in sports and entertainment, you find your way out of the hood, and everyone just lets you do whatever you want. And then they throw millions of dollars at you, 20, 21 years old, and there's no accountability to anyone. You just start thinking you can do whatever you want. Great season, go to the Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl. You're just untouchable because my agent will just fix it, or I'll just pay my way out of it. This is what happens. This is what happens, man.
Well, this in the NFL never does anything to actually.
There's no accountability. There's no accountability.
3-game suspension, maybe.
There's no accountability in the world, man. I mean, you want to stop DUIs? You get a DUI, you lose your license. You get another DUI, you go to prison for life. I bet you DUIs would drop. Dude, you go to Dubai and you steal a candy bar, you lose your hand.
Yeah. People leave their keys on top of their Ferraris. And
doors are unlocked everywhere, bro. They don't care because there's no crime, because there's accountability. You see, and I'm kind of being a hypocrite because last week or the week before I said, do you want to win? And I do want to win. So to me, this is the cost of wanting to win. This is the cost. So don't get me wrong.
I mean, this is a pretty serious offense.
Xavier Worthy's a good kid. Dude, Rashee Rice is a good kid. But when you don't have accountability across the board, this is what happens. And the Kansas City Chiefs, man, I mean, they have somewhat allowed it and somewhat not allowed it. I mean, they did get rid of Kareem Hunt, so I get it. You know what I mean? Like, stuff's on film, TMZ's involved. That's when you just have to release the guy. But we're looking at least a 10-game suspension. Now, mind you, there's going to be an investigation. No one knows what really happened. It just came out this morning, so it's fresh. But us Chief fans, we're sick of this shit, dude. You know what I mean? Like, literally, in my mind now, I have to think, well, this is probably going to be a wash year. This will probably be the first year we don't win the division. You know, Rashee Rice is going to probably be out 6 games. Xavier Worthy will probably be out 10 games. You're wasting the prime of Mahomes because these guys are really not kept in check at all. And it's sad that you should even have to do that. But this is what happens when you give a 21-year-old millions of dollars. When you broom a 21-year-old through college, and he's taking basket weaving 101 as his top class.
Goes to the Super Bowl in his rookie year.
The game is the game, and so I'm kind of torn on it because I want to win, man. I want to win. You know what I mean? And if it takes Henry Ruggs to win, I want to win. So don't get me wrong. It sucks, especially when people's lives are at stake, people being hurt, But at the same time, guys, at what point are we having some male figures in the lives of these men advocating for them? Everyone got mad at Chris Carter for saying that there should be a fall guy a couple years ago. Like, I'm not so sure he was wrong about this. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing, man? You trying to strangle somebody? Really, my dude? Dude, you're going to end up next to Henry Ruggs. What's wrong with you guys? You have the world at your feet. All the ass you can have, all the money you can have. You could travel anywhere you want to go. You have rings. You were playing for one of the most prominent franchises in all of sports history that literally ran the division for the last 10 years. And here you are out here trying to choke a bitch. Spencer, please talk some sense into these guys. Make it make sense. You ruined my day.
NFL should start suspending these guys for like a year because they always get bailed out. You get like a 5-game suspension, and then the NFLPA gets it down to 3. And it's just like
Alvin Kamara beating a guy a guy near to death. Ray Lewis.
It was like nothing.
Ray Caruth. I mean, this isn't something that's new, man. And then we'll have it takes all of us spray painted in the end zone and stop racism, spray painted in the end zone. And guys, stop. Will you just be who you are? You know what I mean? If you're going to be a D-bag, then just be the best D-bag you can be. But don't feed us a bill of goods about how player safety and player, behavior matters. And then, when this stuff happens, you give them 6 games. NFLPA reduces it to 4, and then the guy is out 3. You know what I mean? Or like Henry Ruggs kills a woman and her dog and goes to prison for 3 years. Henry Ruggs is going to get out here soon, guys.
He is.
He's going to get out here. Dude, think about this.
He spent his sentence in a mansion too, pretty much.
Ain't no halfway houses going on with Henry Ruggs. Ain't no ankle monitors. He's getting out to a country club. Dude, he killed a man. I don't know, man. I'm really growing weary of this nonsense in Kansas City, and I'm sure Andy Reid has to too. But I mean, it's part of the culture.
They're in trouble. I mean, just the entire
they're
franchise.
They're in trouble. This is the first time. This is the first time that I'm willing to openly admit that the Chiefs are in trouble here. And Brett Veach and Mark Donovan, they're solid. They're as good as anyone. I mean, I think only Harry Roseman is better, and I think it's debatable because talent just falls to Roseman. You know what I mean? And Veach finds guys, But my goodness, how many distractions can you take? You literally, every year that you don't protect Mahomes and you don't have his complement of true wide receivers and full-time players on the field, you're wasting a generational talent. I could see this being a tough year for Kansas City, man. I really can. And this doesn't help. So I'm feeling a little angry this morning because you know what, man? I mean, I wasn't raised in the hood, but, I'm from the hood at the same time. Like, if you push me, you'll see hood, and I know how to act because I was raised right, and I've had accountability in my life at every single level of my life, and so I don't do shit like this, but I'm also not a generational talent. I also don't own the Combine's record, you know what I mean? I also wasn't in the Super Bowl. It makes these guys feel invincible, and it's sad that this is what has come to with athletes because I think you can have both. You can have both. I mean, you don't see Mahomes doing any of this nonsense, and he's the face of the league. Even in hoops, which you love as much as I do, even more. Even in hoops, you don't see it to this level.
And those guys get kicked out of the league, man, for the most part. Like
And the
Ty
NF
Jones,
and the
very
NBA
talented NBA player.
is a thug league. I mean, look at Ja Morant.
I mean, not always like you have the Miles Bridges of the world, but I would say for the most part, these stories happen way, way, way less in basketball than they do.
It's wild. It's wild to me, man. I don't understand how the NFL just. I don't understand the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm literally beside myself this morning, man. Like, I mean, literally, I saw the news and came on. This is a walk year as far as I'm concerned, man. I mean, hopefully they can do what they can do in the draft and whatnot, but now we're looking at another system. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is going to be without his top 2 wide receivers for most of the season next
And they
year.
can't just sign a bunch of guys too because they'll be back eventually.
Brutal. World of Matches bringing the heat. Ending on a sour note. I'm gonna probably go beat my wife now. I don't know.
Thanks, Kansas City.
Thanks, Kansas City. It's your fault when I'm arrested later. We'll be back next year, guys. This is a big week for free agency. This is our cap compliant. Everyone's gonna start moving like within hours of each other. It's gonna be crazy.
Happen any moment.
So we'll be back to wrap it up next week, next Saturday, bringing the heat. On behalf of World of Matches, my name is Dexter Reed. That's Spencer the Wiz. You guys enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your week. Enjoy cap-friendly week with free agency, and try not to strangle anybody. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.